One day, he was completely all in, texting you first thing in the morning, planning dates without you even asking, showing real initiative, leaning into every conversation, making you feel like the only person in the world, and then, nothing. A sudden, chilling coldness you can feel deep in your bones, a shift in energy you just can't explain, a silence that feels heavy, intentional, and loud. You start replaying everything in your head, over and over. What switched? What did I do wrong? Did I say something? What changed in him? What changed between us? It's a torturous loop of self-doubt and confusion. But here's the absolute truth. Attraction rarely fades randomly. It fades in predictable, psychological patterns. And once you understand these patterns, you stop blaming yourself. You stop replaying the what-ifs. Instead, you start reading men with a kind of clinical accuracy that feels like a superpower. So today, let's dissect exactly why he was all in and then, suddenly, he wasn't. What you're experiencing has a name. It's called the sudden withdrawal phase. This is a critical moment where a man pulls back, not because he's completely done with you, but because an internal reality, a hidden trigger, just got activated inside him. It feels like emotional distance. It feels like decreased effort. His messages get shorter. His replies get slower. There's less certainty in his voice, less presence when he's with you, and a noticeable lack of warmth. And the worst part of it all, he doesn't explain it. He can't. Men rarely communicate what's happening during this phase, not because they're malicious or trying to hurt you, but because often, they're just as confused as you are. See, when a man's attraction takes a dip, he doesn't sit down and analyze it the way a woman might. He doesn't journal about his feelings or call his friends to dissect every detail. He reacts. He withdraws. He instinctively pulls back to recalibrate his own system. To you, this withdrawal feels deeply personal. It feels like a rejection of who you are. To him, it's an instinctive, almost biological response. But beneath that instinct, there's a pattern. And today, we're going to name every single layer of it. Here are the 7 key psychological reasons why a man's attraction can seem to fade out of nowhere, all grounded in real, observable male behavior patterns. Number 1. The chase ended, and he lost his behavioral anchor. Men often fall in love during the pursuit. The effort, the momentum, the challenge of winning you over, that's what fuels their initial investment. That chase releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical associated with reward and motivation. But when the dynamic shifts too quickly from a challenge to comfort, from movement to maintenance, his dopamine levels can drop. This isn't because you're easy or because he's gotten you. It's because the structure he was attaching his energy to, the pursuit, is suddenly gone. Men need a degree of friction. They thrive on pursuit and momentum. When everything becomes stable and predictable too fast, his biology, his very drive, goes still. This is the first and most common silent fade. Number 2. You started filling the space he was supposed to fill. This is a clinical truth about male psychology. A man values the space he is required to maintain. He needs to feel like he has a role to play, a job to do in the relationship. So, when you start to over-communicate, over-invest, over-explain, over-initiate, or put in all the effort, you inadvertently start doing his job for him. And his subconscious mind draws a simple conclusion. I don't need to try here. This isn't because he doesn't like you. It's because his nervous system stops associating you with that satisfying, effort-driven reward. Men don't withdraw because of your effort itself. They withdraw because the dynamic has become imbalanced. He no longer feels needed in the way he needs to feel needed. Number 3. You gave him emotional access before he earned reliability. Emotional intimacy is a beautiful and powerful thing. It's the glue that holds relationships together. But when it's given too early, before a foundation of trust and reliability has been built, it can create a psychological mismatch. He has received the depth and vulnerability of a committed relationship before he has built the commitment itself. For some men, this triggers a sense of anxiety. Instead of leaning in and embracing that closeness, they retract. It's too much, too soon. He enjoyed the connection. He liked the vulnerability. He probably welcomed the closeness at that moment. But it came before he had built the mental and emotional structure to hold it. So his pullback isn't a rejection of you. It's him being overwhelmed by the intensity. Number 4. He hit his internal clarity wall. This is a pivotal moment for a man. The clarity wall is when he suddenly realizes, wow, this could get serious. And instead of getting excited, his subconscious mind starts running a full-scale audit. He asks himself questions like, am I ready for this? Is she the right person for me, long-term? Can I actually maintain this level of commitment? Do I even want this kind of responsibility right now? Women often process these big questions verbally, by talking them through. Men, on the other hand, tend to process them through withdrawal. His silence is him thinking. His distance is him evaluating. His confusion is very, very real. He isn't necessarily gone for good. He's in a state of deep assessment. Number 5, your standards exposed his inconsistencies. There are 2 fundamental types of attraction. First, there's emotional attraction, how he feels when he's with you. It's the fun, the chemistry, the connection. Then, there's character attraction, whether he respects himself in the context of being with you. When your standards, your values, and what you require in a partner start to reveal his own gaps, when he sees that you require consistency, integrity, and discipline that he might not possess, he withdraws. This is not because you're too much or asking for the impossible. It's because he has a moment of stark self-realization. You deserve a man that I don't know if I can be right now. And that's when the fade happens. It's quiet, it's internal, and it's almost always unannounced. It's his own insecurity speaking, not your unworthiness. Number 6, he realized you were more attached than he was prepared for. Men notice attachment levels. They notice them with almost clinical accuracy. When he senses that the dynamic has shifted from a light, fun, I like you, to a heavier, more dependent, I need you emotionally, it can trigger a major recalibration. If he's not on that same level of attachment, he will instinctively step back to avoid sinking further into something he's not ready for. This isn't to punish you. It's not to play games. It's a protective measure to protect both of you from a more painful fallout down the line. He's not fading to be cruel. He's boundary checking. And finally, number 7, his initial intensity was a mask, not his baseline. This one is probably the harshest truth to accept. Some men present a heightened, idealized version of themselves in the beginning of a courtship. They are more attentive than they can actually sustain. They are more invested than they truly are. They are more available than their real life actually allows. This is the best representative phase. When reality hits and that initial burst of energy runs out, their effort level snaps back to their normal baseline. What you are experiencing as the fade is simply his real, sustainable level of capacity finally surfacing. He didn't change. He just revealed who he was all along. Now, here is where your power truly appears. You cannot control whether a man's attraction fades or his reasons for withdrawing, but you can absolutely control how you interpret it. Most women internalize the withdrawal. The immediate reaction is, what did I do wrong? But the powerful shift you need to make is this. His fade is data. It's not a judgment on your worth. It's not a reflection of your value. It is not a sign of a personal flaw. Men withdraw for reasons deeply rooted in their biology, their psychology, their fears about responsibility, their readiness gaps, internal pressure, or simple misalignment. None of these things mean you are lacking in any way. They simply reveal the true state of his internal world. So your new stance becomes clinical. It becomes detached. He pulled back. Good. Now I can see his real pattern of behavior. He went cold. Good. Now I know the true limits of his emotional capacity. He stopped being all in. Good. The mask is off, and now I see the reality. You respond not with panic or pleading, but with neutrality, self-respect, and emotional discipline. That is the shift. That is where you reclaim your power. Here's the truth. He will never tell you. He didn't fade because you weren't enough. He faded because you were the mirror that showed him who he really is, or who he isn't ready to be. Attraction doesn't just disappear. It reveals, and once you learn to see the pattern, you will never misread a man's intentions again. If you want more content like this cold, precise, psychology-based clarity made specifically for women who think deeper, then follow this channel. Not for validation, and not for easy comfort, but for truth, for awareness, and for your own emotional sovereignty, because staying blind in dating is a choice. But so is waking up. Thanks for watching.